Imagine living under a ruler so cruel that their name becomes synonymous with tyranny. History is full of despots, but some ancient rulers took their cruelty and incompetence to new levels. Today we're exploring the worst rulers in ancient history. Welcome to History Lab Archives. Today we're diving into the dark and chaotic reigns of some of the most infamous rulers in ancient history. Get ready for tales of madness, cruelty, and utter incompetence that will leave you shocked and fascinated. In this video, we'll uncover the reigns of infamous rulers like Caligula, Nero, Emperor Wu of Northern Zhou, Attila the Hun, King Herod the Great, King Antiochus IV Epiphanes, and Phalaris of Acragas. We'll delve into their outrageous actions, the chaos they caused, and the lasting impacts of their rule. Trust me, you won't want to miss these jaw-dropping stories. Caligula, Rome's mad emperor. First, let's talk about one of Rome's most notorious emperors, Caligula. Caligula, born Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, became the third Roman emperor in AD 37. Initially, his reign began with much promise and public approval. However, a serious illness in AD 38 marked a dramatic shift in his behavior. Caligula's subsequent actions revealed his descent into madness, characterized by extreme cruelty and megalomania. Caligula's reign was marked by bizarre and tyrannical behavior. He declared himself a living god, indulged in extravagant and wasteful projects, and was infamous for his sadistic pleasures. He reportedly forced families to watch executions of their relatives and had conversations with the moon. Caligula's extravagant spending nearly bankrupted the Roman treasury, leading to widespread discontent. One of the most famous and bizarre stories about Caligula is his appointment of his favorite horse, Incitatus, as a priest, and attempting to make him a consul. While some historians argue this was a symbolic gesture to mock the Roman Senate, it illustrates the depths of Caligula's insanity. His reign of terror ended in AD 41 when he was assassinated by his own guards, reflecting the extent of his unpopularity. Another jaw-dropping fact is that Caligula allegedly ordered his soldiers to collect seashells as spoils of war during an ill-fated campaign against the ocean, which he declared an enemy. Imagine going to a temple and finding a horse as the chief priest. Caligula's antics were as mad as they were dangerous. Have you ever heard of a leader as bizarre as Caligula? Share your thoughts in the comments. Historian Suetonius provides a detailed account of Caligula's reign in his work, The 12 Caesars, Suetonius, 121 AD. His accounts, though sometimes questioned for their sensationalism, give a vivid picture of Caligula's bizarre and brutal rule. Additional insights can be found in the writings of Cassius Dio and Tacitus, who also documented the emperor's reign. While Caligula's reign was filled with madness, our next ruler took cruelty to new heights. Nero, the emperor who fiddled while Rome burned. Next, we delve into the reign of Nero, another infamous Roman emperor known for his brutal and erratic behavior. Nero Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, commonly known as Nero, became emperor in AD 54 at the age of 16. His early reign was relatively stable, largely due to the guidance of his advisors Seneca and Burrus. However, as he grew older, Nero's true nature emerged, and his rule became increasingly despotic and unpredictable. Nero is often remembered for the Great Fire of Rome in AD 64. According to ancient sources, Nero allegedly played the lyre, famously referred to as fiddling, while Rome burned. Although modern historians debate the accuracy of this account, it is widely believed that Nero used the fire as an excuse to rebuild the city according to his grandiose vision, further burdening the Roman treasury. Nero's reign was also marked by extreme cruelty and persecution. He is infamous for his brutal treatment of Christians, whom he scapegoated for the fire, leading to widespread executions. Nero's personal life was equally scandalous. He murdered his mother Agrippina and his wife Octavia. One of the most jaw-dropping facts about Nero is that he kicked his pregnant wife Poppaea to death in a fit of rage. Later, filled with regret, he castrated a young boy named Sporus, made him look like his wife, and married him. Nero's extravagance and disregard for Rome's well-being ultimately led to a revolt, and he committed suicide in AD 68, ending his chaotic rule. Imagine blaming an entire community for a disaster just to push your own architectural agenda. Nero's reign was a tragic mix of vanity and viciousness. What do you think about the stories surrounding Nero and the Great Fire of Rome? Let us know in the comments. Tacitus, in his Annals, offers a detailed narrative of Nero's reign and the Great Fire of Rome. Tacitus, AD 109. Tacitus's accounts are complemented by Suetonius in The 12 Caesars and Cassius Dio in his Roman History. both of which provide additional perspectives on Nero's brutal rule and personal scandals. From Rome's tyrants, we move to the Far East to explore the rule of Emperor Wu of Northern Zhou, known for his brutal policies. Emperor Wu of Northern Zhou, the tyrant of China. Now let's uncover the story of Emperor Wu of Northern Zhou, whose reign was marked by extreme cruelty and harsh policies. Emperor Wu, born Yuan Yong, ruled Northern Zhou from AD 561 to 578. His reign is infamous for the ruthless and oppressive measures he implemented to consolidate power. Emperor Wu sought to strengthen the central government and military, but his methods were brutal and unforgiving. One of Emperor Wu's most notorious actions was his harsh persecution of Buddhism. He ordered the destruction of Buddhist temples, the confiscation of temple lands, and the forced laicization of monks and nuns. This was part of his broader effort to eliminate what he saw as threats to his authority and to promote Confucianism and Taoism as state ideologies. Emperor Wu's reign was also characterized by severe punishments for dissent and rebellion. He used cruel methods to suppress opposition, including mass executions and public tortures. His harsh policies and brutality earned him a reputation as one of China's most feared and hated rulers. Despite his efforts to strengthen the state, his oppressive rule led to widespread resentment and instability, and he died in AD 578, leaving a legacy of tyranny. A jaw-dropping fact about Emperor Wu is that he reportedly executed over 100,000 people during his reign, showcasing his extreme ruthlessness. Imagine a ruler who would rather destroy an entire religious community than tolerate differing beliefs. Emperor Wu's intolerance knew no bounds. Do you think Emperor Wu's harsh methods were justified for consolidating power? Share your thoughts in the comments. According to the Book of Zhou, a classic Chinese historical text, Emperor Wu's reign was marked by his ruthless suppression of Buddhism and harsh policies. Yao, 636 AD. Modern historians such as Charles Holcomb in A History of East Asia provide further analysis of his reign, examining the broader social and political impacts of his brutal policies. Next, we move to the steppes of Central Asia to examine the reign of Attila the Hun, known for his fierce invasions and ruthless rule. Attila the Hun, the scourge of God. Let's explore the reign of Attila the Hun, a leader whose name became synonymous with fear and destruction. Attila the Hun ruled the Huns from AD 434 until his death in AD 453. He was known for his fierce and relentless invasions of the Eastern and Western Roman empires. Under his leadership, the Huns became one of the most feared enemies of the Romans, sacking cities and spreading terror throughout Europe. Attila's military campaigns were characterized by their brutality and effectiveness. He employed psychological warfare, devastating scorched earth tactics, and swift, unexpected attacks to overwhelm his enemies. His invasion of the Eastern Roman Empire in AD 441 and subsequent campaigns left a trail of destruction, forcing the Romans to pay large tributes to avoid further devastation. One of the most jaw-dropping facts about Attila is the sheer scale of fear he instilled in his enemies. Known as the Scourge of God, he was believed to be an instrument of divine punishment. Attila's reputation was so fearsome that entire cities would surrender at the mere rumor of his approach. Despite his ruthless reputation, Attila's death was surprisingly mundane. He died on his wedding night, allegedly from a severe nosebleed or from choking on his own blood. Imagine leading a life of unparalleled ferocity only to die from a nosebleed on your wedding night. Attila's end was as unexpected as his reign was terrifying. What do you think was the most fearsome aspect of Attila's rule? Share your thoughts in the comments. Historians such as Jordanes in The Origin and Deeds of the Goths and Priscus, a contemporary historian, provide detailed accounts of Attila's reign and his campaigns. Modern historians like Christopher Kelly in The End of Empire, Attila the Hun and the Fall of Rome offer comprehensive analyses of Attila's impact on the Roman Empire and his lasting legacy. Next, we explore the reign of King Herod the Great, a ruler whose paranoia and brutality left a lasting mark on history. King Herod the Great, the paranoid tyrant. Let's delve into the reign of King Herod the Great, known for his grand building projects and his ruthless elimination of perceived threats. Herod the Great ruled Judea from 37 BC to 4 BC. He was known for his extensive building projects, including the expansion of the Second Temple in Jerusalem, the construction of the fortress at Masada, and the city of Caesarea Maritima. These projects were intended to showcase his power and ingratiate himself with the Roman Empire. Despite his contributions to architecture, Herod's reign was marked by extreme paranoia and brutality. He was obsessed with securing his throne and went to great lengths to eliminate any potential rivals. This included the execution of his wife Marianne, her 2 sons, her brother, her grandfather, and her mother. His cruelty extended to all levels of society, and he was infamous for his ruthless and oppressive measures. One of the most jaw-dropping facts about Herod is the massacre of the innocents, an event recorded in the Gospel of Matthew. According to this account, Herod ordered the execution of all male infants in Bethlehem to prevent the rise of a prophesied new king of the Jews. While the historical accuracy of this event is debated, it underscores Herod's reputation for extreme measures to secure his power. Herod's death in 4 BC was followed by chaos and division, reflecting the instability of his rule. Imagine a ruler so paranoid that he orders the execution of his own family members and even children to secure his throne. Herod's reign was as paranoid as it was grandiose. Do you think Herod's grand building projects can outweigh his brutality? Share your thoughts in the comments. The works of Flavius Josephus, particularly Antiquities of the Jews, provide a detailed account of Herod's reign, including his building projects and acts of cruelty. Modern scholars like Peter Richardson in Herod, King of the Jews and Friend of the Romans offer further analysis of his complex legacy. Now, let's delve into the reign of Phalaris, the infamous tyrant of Acragas in ancient Sicily. Phalaris, the tyrant of Acragas. Phalaris ruled Acragas, modern Agrigento, in Sicily during the 6th century BC, and became infamous for his cruelty and oppressive rule. Phalaris initially gained power in Acragas as a military commander and later seized control as a tyrant. His rule is notorious for the extreme measures he used to maintain power and suppress dissent. He built a reputation for his sadistic enjoyment of torture and public executions. Phalaris's reign is often associated with the brazen bull, an execution device allegedly invented by Perilos of Athens. The bull was a hollow bronze statue in which victims were roasted alive, their screams transformed into the sound of a bull's bellowing. However, Phalaris's cruelty extended beyond the brazen bull. He was known for his relentless suppression of opposition, executing political rivals and anyone suspected of plotting against him. One of the most jaw-dropping facts about Phalaris is his rumored practice of cannibalism. Ancient sources, such as the historian Diodorus Siculus, claim that Phalaris would consume the flesh of his enemies as a demonstration of his power and to instill fear in his subjects. His reign of terror ended when he was overthrown by a popular uprising, and according to some accounts, Phalaris himself met his end in the brazen bull he had used to torment so many. Imagine a ruler who not only tortures his enemies but also allegedly eats them. Phalaris's reign was a gruesome display of unchecked power. Do you think Phalaris's cruelty was the most extreme in history? Share your thoughts in the comments. Ancient historians such as Diodorus Siculus and Polybius provide accounts of Phalaris's reign and his notorious cruelty. Modern scholars, including Mary Beard in SPQR, A History of Ancient Rome, discuss the broader implications of his tyranny and its impact on Greek political thought. Lastly, we examine the rule of King Antiochus IV Epiphanes, whose oppressive policies led to significant revolts and lasting historical impacts. King Antiochus IV Epiphanes, the oppressive monarch. Let's explore the reign of King Antiochus IV Epiphanes, whose attempts to Hellenize his kingdom sparked major revolts. Antiochus IV Epiphanes ruled the Seleucid Empire from 175 BC to 164 BC. He is best known for his efforts to impose Greek culture and religion on his subjects, leading to significant unrest and rebellion. His policies aimed at unifying his empire under Hellenistic traditions, but often resulted in brutal oppression. Antiochus's attempts to Hellenize the Jewish population in Judea were particularly harsh. He outlawed Jewish religious practices, desecrated the Second Temple by erecting an altar to Zeus, and demanded the worship of Greek gods. These actions led to the Maccabean Revolt, a significant Jewish uprising against his rule, which is commemorated in the Jewish festival of Hanukkah. One of the most jaw-dropping facts about Antiochus IV is his extreme measures to enforce Hellenization. He not only executed those who refused to comply, but also engaged in public displays of punishment to instill fear. His reign was marked by massacres and forced conversions, earning him a reputation as one of the most oppressive rulers in Jewish history. Antiochus IV's death in 164 BC was surrounded by reports of madness, reflecting the turbulent end of his tyrannical rule. Imagine a ruler so determined to impose his culture that he sparks one of the most famous revolts in history. Antiochus's reign was a classic case of cultural imposition gone wrong. Primary sources such as the books of Maccabees in the Apocrypha provide detailed accounts of Antiochus's oppressive policies and the resulting revolt. Modern historians like Eric S. Gruen in Hellenism and the Rise of the Jews provide broader context and analysis of Antiochus's reign and its impacts. These rulers, from Caligula to Antiochus IV Epiphanes, demonstrate the extremes of human behavior and the destructive potential of absolute power. Let's recap what we've learned today. Today, we journeyed through some of the worst rulers in ancient history. We explored the madness of Caligula, the cruelty of Nero, the tyranny of Emperor Wu of Northern Zhou, the ferocity of Attila the Hun, the paranoia of King Herod the Great, the brutality of Phalaris, and the oppression of King Antiochus IV Epiphanes. These stories highlight the extremes of human behavior and the consequences of unchecked power. While these rulers are long gone, their legacies remind us of the importance of accountability and the dangers of tyranny. If you enjoyed this dive into the worst rulers in ancient history, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fascinating historical tales from History Lab archives. And don't forget to leave a comment with your thoughts on these infamous rulers. Thanks for watching.